Hello? Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Can they hear you?
What's up, man?
Hello.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Just getting some work done, but we got the stream going on right now. How are you doing?
Stream is work. It's fun work. It's excellent work.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the
I'm good. We went and saw, wife and two friends went and saw Sum 41 and Simple Plan last night. And my ears are still ringing, not even joking. No cap.
Oh shit.
My ears are fucking ringing. They will not stop ringing.
What does it have to do for the, you know, like the band that has to live through that every night?
That's what I was thinking. Bro, I was like, this is going to take 2 or 3 days for my ears to just go back to normal. And those dudes are up there doing this, I'm assuming 6 nights a week, maybe more.
Yeah, I guess it's the price you have to pay is you just sacrifice the future of your hearing.
Andrew Blank. Yeah, honestly, about halfway through, I saw that they had free earplugs at the venue that we went to. And definitely should have used those.
You need to use the free earplugs. It's a good way to go. You get the free earplugs going.
Everybody, thank you for joining us. We're going to kind of let everybody filter in, find your seat, grab some popcorn. We got lots to talk about from Commander Legends Baldur's Gate. And Jake, we got a little reserve list thing. Maybe a little.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about, I went through, you know, I was just doing like for my own collection, going through and looking at reserve list cards at a certain price point that I think might be good. You know, like they aren't awful.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like that's the thing about the reserve list is there's like a chunk of it that's just terrible. Like
Seriously?
at a certain price point. Like it's not even worth it to look at the stuff that's less than $10. So we're gonna talk about that. Jank says, yo, I heard they're reprinting Imperial Seal. Y'all know anything about that?
I haven't heard that. I haven't
not heard that. Looking out, though. We will be looking out for when that happens because that's something that we do want to pick up.
Hey, thank you, by the way, to literally the entire community. 2 things. Y'all are the reason that we got a preview card like that. So us having a second one, honestly, after we never thought we would get one, period, because we talk about so many finance topics and we talk shit about the reserve list sometimes. But getting that first one was just wild, and getting a second one even surprised us more because I figured after the first one they would go and watch the video and then poke around our channel and be like, oh god, what did we do? We can't do this ever again. So getting the second one is definitely on y'all's shoulders, as is all this. And then honestly going through and we got so many great comments on that video. I know, Jake knows, Joe the editor knows, it's 12 minutes of analysis of an uncommon. We get it. But reading all your fantastic comments really made our day. We were screenshotting and sending them all to each other all day long yesterday, so thank you for that.
Yeah, that was fun. You know, we appreciate everybody being out today, and you know, we're excited to have a little stream for you. Yeah, I see a lot of the usual suspects in chat. Metatron, Brody Ham, Jank. See Pause Brown. What's up, Pause? Nice to see you. Lots of folks hanging out, so thanks for jumping in. Pack Opening Addict as well, I see out there. Yeah, we're gonna go over some, essentially we're getting a big chunk of Commander Legends battle for Baldur's Gate, but before we get into that, can you help us sprint to like 69 likes? We've got 148 people that are watching. Can we get that like button going? Pause is saying it. Hit that like button, please. Let's get to 69 likes at least, just for the memes.
While you're down there pressing like, look at that join button next to subscribe. Just click on it and see it. It doesn't commit you to anything to click it and see what it provides you, but it gives you a nice little badge in our live chat, on the comments of our videos. We you know, it's a way to directly support our channel, making it possible so that Hopefully one day within the next year, Jake and I can do this as our full-time job, which would just be a dream. Also recently, the channel membership, when you click join down below the video, is now connected to Discord. So you get a special role in Discord saying, yo, I'm also a YouTube supporter on the membership side. So lots of cool things there. As always, Patreon, that's the best way to support us. We're not going to be selling this whole stream, y'all.
I see a little bit of saltiness going on in chat. I want everybody to just chill out and just be kind.
Hey, everybody take care of each other in chat. Please,
all right,
just take care of each other.
We got a lot of crap going on in the world that sucks. Let's let this.
Agreed. This is not for that.
We're just gonna have a good time. Good time today.
Please be nice.
And then
please take care of each other.
You go back on the internet after that and do whatever you want.
Are we good in there?
I can't help you. Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. You know?
Do we need to drop a hammer?
No, we don't need to drop a hammer at all.
Hammer of Moradin.
Yeah. Everybody's here for a good time. I think there was a little bit of a miscommunication because I went up there and I read, and I think everything's fine.
Gotcha.
I sometimes catch it. Sometimes I don't. But anyway,
Darth Brando, thank you for joining the channel. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about. Memberships on the channel. We got to get those up. I want to see everybody in chat with their little jam badge.
Yes, if you do want to support the channel, head on over to Patreon. So Joel, what do you think is going on in MTG these days, man? Because for me, it is just like product overload. There's like some stuff that I want to buy, and then there's some stuff where I'm just like I just don't have the money for it. I went ahead and my most recent MTG purchase is I bought a collector box pre-sale for Double Masters 2022, and that came out to like $250.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jank. Jank actually picked it up for me in the middle of a Foil Quest stream, so I got it like a week ago. And now MTG Gaming Bob actually reached out to me and said that the price on it has gone up since.
Commander Legends, or what are you talking?
Double Masters 2022 collector.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the product overload question goes, yes, absolutely. But I think that that's just sort of gonna be the reality forever. I think that's how we live now. And you just sort of have to engage when you want to and don't engage when you want to. Figure out a way where you can sort of, if you want, sort of touch on every set. Like every main set that comes out, I get a bundle of it and I pick up one or two of the precons. And then what I try and do is take those precons and not like, you know, I do the budget and bling series sometimes, and I'm not trying to, with my upgrades to engage with the set, make them the most powerful, freaking synergistic, all the pieces. What I want to do is find the like versions of cards from that set, the special treatments, and try and make them as thematic, or like lean into that set from which they came as much as I possibly can. So I end up with Sweet Streets of New Capenna commander deck, and that was my, you know, engagement with the set, was some cards from the bundle. I'm going to order some singles in the special treatment that matches. I'm going to marry the two. So, you know, it's just about figuring out how you want to engage.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't know if anybody in chat is seeing this, but when these were originally posted on Amazon, is this our lowest price that we have for Double Masters 2022 collector here, Joel?
No, surely not. This is just on TCG Player. I haven't taken it. Well, I mean, TCG Player is going to be competing, right?
Well, I guess let's see if Amazon, let's see what Amazon's price is, just because I remember it before tax was like $220. So if Amazon has already jumped from 220 to around 280s.
I'm logging out of my Amazon so I don't dox myself here.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, good looking out. But we would want to compare there just because that's the same retailer, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I do see a $15 super chat from Palumbo06 says picking up the
Furcrag.
The Furcrag precon. So that's Warhammer 40K, right?
No. That's the red and blue dragon precon.
That's right. That one actually does look pretty good.
Palumbo,
that one looks pretty good.
Me and chat on the day that one got spoiled did some pretty good theory crafting around it. If you go check out, I've got a longer video of all 5 of the precon face commanders, and me and chat went through and did some cool theory crafting and looked up some good cards for him if you want to get my initial take on Furcrag. But yeah, I mean, honestly, Furcrag looks really strong. We will circle around to the commanders. Jake, I want to look at this though. 273 for Double Masters 22 collector box here.
Oh, that is the Amazon. Okay, and I'm actually looking at that same link that was sent to me by Jank just a moment ago.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, dude, this already tells me, like, look at what's going on with this thing, man.
This
hype. Thing is already flying.
Yeah, this is hype. This is hype stuff, man. I would avoid this. I don't really like this. I mean, is that really what that price is going to need to go for? Is it just going to keep going up and up and up? It's because so far we've seen, you know, a $70, $65 card. It's because we've seen a $70, $90 card. We've seen, you know, another $17 to $20 card and then some jank. But, you know, we've seen some of these treatments, and gosh, all of these etched foil. We also know we're getting...
See, this is what's interesting about this product is you have stuff like Ren and 6 that is a $90 card because of scarcity.
Right.
You have stuff like Kozilek that is a great card, a big beefy Eldrazi, and now you're giving them these special showcase treatments. Like, that's the first time we're getting Kozilek in this crazy art.
This looks insane. I gotta get a playmat of this.
And that's Butcher of Truth, which is like the most attractive Kozilek, right?
Seriously.
So I mean, this isn't like, so that's where this product, you know, that's where I think this price adjustment, I'm actually not even super surprised by it. Do I think it'll go higher when it's out of print? Probably, depending on, you know, what else they spoil in here. If they spoil some rares that are super good, which I imagine that they're going to do, then, you know, I'm really interested to see the first couple booster box openings or collector box openings of Double Masters to see what it's like inside one of these collector packs, because I imagine it has to be a calculated thing where they're saying, all right, this is like, this needs to be like good. Right. It needs to be popping.
Yeah. Two things. First off, thank you, Metatron, coming through with the super chat safety meeting supply funds. Good looking out, pal. Appreciate you.
We'll need that. We will need that.
Secondly, you want to know
especially
what, Jake?
In Vegas.
Oh yeah,
we are going to go to Vegas. By the way, we should say
Vegas.
that.
Yeah, for sure.
We are going to be in Vegas for
what do you call it?
Command Fest.
There we go.
Command Fest.
We got there.
That's it.
I don't know what it's called. Yeah, we're gonna be there. We're gonna do a little community meetup on Saturday. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be doing some interviews, making some fun videos with some of the booths, and asking some people that are just attending about, you know, some of their preferences for proxies and their favorite commanders, things like that. We're not 100% sure on what we're gonna do, but it's gonna be a blast. But a community meetup towards the end of the day for, like, you know, a few hours is definitely gonna be a part of it. So if you're going to Vegas, make sure you hit us up there on the conference floor. We'll be talking in the Discord that weekend for sure as well. So make sure you're a member of our Discord if you want those updates. Jake, this is kind of funny because Double Masters 22 collector booster boxes, we're getting information about it in sort of a offhand way with every single card that is revealed from Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. And let me tell you why. Because Baldur's Gate, it's not a reprint set, bro. Commander Legends 1, I think it can be called a reprint set. We got a lot of very powerful reprints in there. We also got some very powerful brand new commander cards. Baldur's Gate, that's a D&D theme set, bro. That is not a reprint set at all. I know that we got some in there, but I figured they'd be spreading their reprints between Double Masters 22 and Commander Legends Baldur's Gate, and that is not what happened. And so I'm even more hyped now for Double Masters 22, whereas my hype was spread pretty evenly between the bagel of Commander Legends and the other half bagel of Double Masters 22, but it's all on 22 now, bro. I think.
Well,
it's
I guess
awesome.
let's get the little tinfoil hat theory going here.
Let's go.
Let's go on Commander Legends, right? You have a set that, based on what was printed in it, you got the very first ever printing of J-Lo, and then you got the vampiric, the mana drain, and then you got all of these especially in the collector product you're getting
dude, that took me like 30 seconds to figure out what the hell you were talking about. I've never heard it called J-Lo. That's hilarious. All right, continue.
Well, if it isn't called J-Lo, then it needs to be called J-Lo. But you get the first printing of that, but then you also get, in those extended frames, you're getting like Soul Ring, Command Tower, Arcane Signet, a bunch of staples. And so if we're not seeing that kind of stuff, which I imagine we would be, but maybe we don't see that kind of stuff pop up in here.
Right.
Then I think that maybe they were selling the hype. I think they were selling the name here on this one. So unless we see some big stuff pop up in Commander Legends Baldur's Gate,
we're not. Tomorrow's the last day of previews. I don't know who knows that.
Yeah.
But tonight is the penultimate day for reprints. I mean, for announcement of these new cards. And so we've seen pretty much what we're going to see. They used to, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, we got pretty conditioned to the very last day of previews are going to have like some banger. But they've pretty much just been going from the gate. They're just like, here's the coolest shit. Everything else is going to be about those archetypes or mechanics or whatever. However, with Double Masters 22 right on the heels of this, it's just very interesting. I mean, look at this. Here, let's swap over and check this out real fast.
Yeah. Jank, I did get that link, by the way. For anybody who is hanging out in chat, Best Buy does have collector boosters for Double Masters 2022 at a better price than Amazon. So make sure to check that out. I saw some people in chat talking about that as well.
I've got the wrong display set right now. Here we go. We were looking at you. Taking a closer look at Jake here for a moment. No,
I'm happy I wasn't picking my nose.
I wanted to look at this.
Yeah.
So far, we've seen 36 cards that are reprints.
Yeah, like we've set. Right. Let's go over the reprints. Maybe we could be like, which Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate reprints are worth their salt.
Yeah. So in Battle for Baldur's Gate, let me turn the music down here just a little bit. So in Battle for Baldur's Gate, we got a ton of reprints. Well, not a ton, way fewer than we thought. 36 is the number so far. We're on the night before previews are completely done.
Sure.
This is sorted by our rarity, Jake, not necessarily by our price here. We'll do that in a second. But we got one mythic reprint, which was Bramble Sovereign, it's a good reprint. It was like a $15 card that was just going to continuously creep up. Battle Bond is where it showed up first. But, 15 to 18 bucks. We got Basilisk Collar reprint, which not really necessary. We've got a lot of copies of this, and mostly this card has stayed under $5. Shows up in pre-cons a lot. This is one where, we get... It's an easy reprint. It's not a lot of money. Blade of Selves is nice. Commander 2015.
Yeah, that's a good one. This is a good one.
Exactly. This is the kind
of... This is like the best one that I've seen.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and this is where to reprint these, man. This is this like Commander specific mechanic. Any cards that say Commander or any cards that have mechanics that are so specific to Commander, this is the only place you can really get them, unless you're going to throw them in a pre-con and artificially raise the price of that. So it's nice to see that. I also did like the reprint here before we look at the land cycle of Kindred Discovery. I've covered this one a couple of times in shorts, I think, at least in videos. But this is the kind of card where I just kept saying, if you don't reprint this, it's just going to creep. If you don't reprint this, it's just going to creep, because any blue tribal deck wants this card. It's not. It's
what this is
wide
a good
application.
One.
It is. It was a $25 card because it was only in pre-cons and on the list. And a reprint in this set is going to get this card down into the $10 to $15 range, hopefully, where it belongs or less. And then past that, it's the same thing. Commander-specific mechanics or the word commander on cards. Bountiful Promenade, commander-specific mechanic, 2 or more opponents. So these are probably
battle
the
bond
biggest
ones
deal.
did need a. These are likely the biggest deal. These were pretty scarce. They were one of the only reasons to open Battle Bond. We did get them as expeditions, and that, you know, Zendikar, it's a set that comes with hype. Every time we go there, it's a set with hype. I remember buying these foils when they were cheap, when Zendikar Rising first came out and expeditions were getting cracked a lot. You were seeing boxes that would have the foil expeditions and the non-foil ones and all that stuff. And it was a great time to pick those up, you know, weeks and even months after that, while that set was bottoming out. But yeah, I think these are still pretty accessible, though, even if they weren't getting the reprint here. You know,
Yeah, this will just make them ubiquitous
a little bit.
This will get it to a point where you're not spending 30 on a land, right?
Yeah, right. It will for a little while, and then possibly they creep back up. I do imagine. I mean, Reflecting Pool is really good too.
Yeah,
I do imagine that
it's always good to reprint
Wizards of the Coast is they know that the name of this set, given the popularity of the first set, is going to draw a lot of people in.
That's your conspiracy hat, right? Is like just slap that name on any set and it's gonna sell more.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, we don't even have the big jeweled lotus of the set. Like, what is the best card in the set?
I don't think. I mean, let me look at it right now, but I don't think we're really gonna get a card like that. I'll sort by price right here. But I think that Ryan in chat says it best. Baldur's Gate was never going to eclipse Commander Legends because we knew that it had a theme that it had to live with. But overall, it was a pretty disappointing set for reprints, and it really was. We thought it was going to be a reprint set, and it wasn't. You're looking at your Ancient Dragons here that are your top dollars. That's not correct. That will not hold that price. Elminster and Minsk, these will be cool right out of the gate, and then they'll cool off in price. You'll be able to pick these up probably 2-3 weeks in for their lowest.
But there is no zero cost mana rock that's going to cheat your commander out early.
Nope.
It just doesn't exist. We do get more treasure support, which is becoming a big theme in MTG. We're getting more treasure support.
So now we know from where the hideous laughter is coming.
That's right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the reprints go, it's not a reprint set. That's just kind of the bottom line. That's the button right there, is that we assumed, we were never told, but we assumed it was going to be a reprint set. But it's been
you start to
disappointing.
draw those lines. You start to say, okay, you know, if the first set had this, you know, kind of theme about it, then this one must have that kind of theme. I would say this, definitely don't overpay for the Commander Legends product. I think a lot of players that aren't certain. I mean, look at this. Yeah,
360 cards. Were reprints in Commander Legends. 360 cards.
Well, keep in mind there's going to be probably variants of those and stuff
for
too,
sure,
right?
For sure. Yeah. But you're looking at, I mean, just like heavy hitters. This is sorted by price. So your top row is just destroying. And you go down.
Yeah, and one of those was a buy a box promo, but yeah, I mean, essentially, you're right. The top row does destroy, but then, you know, it does kind of fall off dramatically. It really does. You know, it starts
reprints,
to like, yeah. As far as the price of these go, you know, there's a lot of cards on here that are really good, but not a lot of value on most of these.
I just made a short. If you don't have a Staff of Domination, now's a really good time to pick up Staff of Domination. It's at like $2 or $3 for a base version copy of this card, and this card is going to be good forever.
Yeah, let's see what chat has to say here.
He probably said that about Tarmogoyf back in the day, didn't he? He doesn't know what he's talking about. So yeah, I like Kindred Discovery. I really like the reprint of Ambition's Cost. This is one where CLB...
How much of this set has been revealed so far? A good bit of it, Brody. Good bit.
I love a good draw spell.
If you've seen the cards and like them, then buy it. But there's just not a lot of value here. Yep, that's a good way to say it. Good way to say it.
Yeah, a lot
Oatmeal says Wizards of the Coast Magic the Gathering Double Masters Collector Booster Box is currently out of stock. Sorry about that. Please remove this item and order when it becomes available. Yeah, that might be the product that a lot of players set their gaze upon.
I gotta say, you know, it's a disappointing reprint set. Just to sort of wrap this topic up, it's a disappointing reprint set, but any set whose rare land cycle, and we've said this before, any set whose rare land cycle are hitting at that $10 to $20 mark or more, you've got a real fun set to open, because you're going to be, at the very least, you're opening real estate, and real estate's always going to be good.
You know, you're not wrong about that. I do agree with that. And if we get cool variants of these lands, there are going to be players that like these. You know, the thing that is so attractive about these lands is they're essentially like a budget dual land. Now, most players that, you know, are going to play competitively, they're going to be like, well, why not both? Right? It's like you run the Underground Sea and you run the Morphic Pool. But for the players that can't afford the Underground Sea, then absolutely grab, you know, this version, because it's going to enter the battlefield tapped in less. And that's a big thing there. In this format, that is going to be easy to achieve.
It will. I mean, it is of note.
2 or more opponents. It's you're always going to have that.
It's of note that this will be our first time getting these extended as well. So these extendos, the foil extendos, are really going to be a good price.
Right. And do they give it another variant other than that? Or is the collector product, you know, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what this is going to be like. We pretty much see, like, you know, the heavy hitters in the set. I wouldn't overpay for it.
What a big disappointment. What a disappointment that they reprinted the diamonds and they did not reprint the talismans.
Oh, talismans would have been good. Talismans would have been good.
Anyway, that's what I think about the reprints on those. These pre-order prices are going nuts. Medallions, sorry. Yep, that's what I meant. Not talismans, medallions.
Oh, the medallions. Yes, yes.
Diamonds help in draft, medallions don't. That is true. I will concede that.
Yeah, that is true. Especially if they are going for, you know, it looks like most of these decks are going to be, you know, 2 color, and it looks like it has the support for 3 color too. Secret layer for medallions. Yeah, that could be fun. That would be a pretty rockin' secret layer to get. I would sign up for that.
We're getting a Beetle and Grimm's. You familiar with that? They did that backpack. They did that backpack swag set around.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know what I'm talking about? Around
yeah, I
Neon
think so.
Dynasty. Yeah, they're not talking about it anymore, but we're getting tomorrow at 2:30 Pacific, Beetle and Grimm's Secret Lair. So I don't even know
what's going to be.
I have no idea, because Beetle and Grimm's is sort of a merchandise, high-end accessories to enhance your tabletop role-playing experience. So I don't even know what is possibly going to be in this.
Possibly a mortuary beetle and a grim tutor.
That could be good. What's the price on Grim Tutor? $15?
And then mortuary beetle.
Whoops, that's not how you spell beetle. That's how you spell the band, Joel.
There it is. No, Mortician Beetle. That's what it is.
As a whopping $1 card. Hopefully they at least put Crash of Rhino Beetles in there.
We're not getting Jeweled Lotus again, Will Leonard.
No. Somebody asked if Imperial Seal was being reprinted in this, and I can't confirm that. Pretty sure it's not.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to
What else we
reprint
got?
that
What
one.
do you want to? What did you want to look at with the reserve list, Jake?
Oh, we could do that, or we could save that for later if you want to
Okay.
do a set review where we talk about.
Yeah. Let's keep talking about this set. So
Yeah.
gates. Let's talk about gates. Gate. Oh, whoops! That's every card ever. Come on, Joel. Let me pull this up first.
Thankfully, they did do Baldur's Gate.
I had a lot of requests in chat. Type gate. Wait, hang on. What the? To talk about gates. I'm not seeing any gates, y'all. Am I getting it wrong? Type gate? All right, let's just look at type land. Oh, CLB. Where are all the gates? Wait, there's got to be gate. Why did people? No, that's not even. What is going on? This says gates you control enter the battlefield untapped. Add a colorless, add a color of any mana that a gate you control could produce. Uncommon though, it's not going to have a lot of dollar.
Oh, there should be 9. I'm seeing chat is saying that there should be 9 gates. Maybe go to MTG Mythic spoiler for this one, and we have to look somewhere else.
Yeah. They might have been all revealed today then. Scryfall normally takes a day.
And then just hit newest. Let's see what we get. Oh, there they are. All right. Here we go. We got some gates. Ooh, tap and untap gate you control to create a treasure token. That's going to be the most popular one.
So, looking at gates for Baldur's Gate, I know a lot of people have been hyped that gate is going to be a land type coming back. These were revealed today: Sea Gate, Manor Gate, Citadel, Cliff Gate, and Black Dragon Gate. That's one of each color, and they're a little different this time. They enter the battlefield tapped, which is normal, but enter the battlefield, choose a color other than green in the example of Manor Gate, and then it's tapped to add green or 1 mana of the chosen color. These are sort of like that land cycle that we got a few sets back, where it was basically the same thing as this. You choose a color other than that color, and the color it can tap for the color it taps for and for the chosen color. That's a really good way
that's actually, I mean, it's amazing mana fixing for limited.
Oh yeah,
it's like the best thing that you could possibly do. You know, it's like, all right, if I'm in this color,
the thriving lands. Exactly. Darth Brando and Photon and Vild. Yeah, those thriving lands. It's a good mechanic. It's a way to make these viable. We've got a utility one here with Heap Gate.
Right.
Add a mana of any color so it filters, and then pay 1, tap it, tap and untap gate you control, create a treasure token. That seems pretty strong, especially at common.
I'm just happy that one taps for colorless. It's a useless card if it doesn't at least tap for colorless, and thankfully it does.
Yeah. So we also saw this one here. Gon's Gate enters the battlefield. Gates you control enter the battlefield untapped. It just straight up tells you that your gates are now minus the only drawback of gates. Gon's Gate seems like it's going to be pretty huge. You know, it's disappointing that old Golos had to die. Because
I think that there's something that's going to happen here, and it's just going to be scape shift, go grab all your gates, and Maze's End win. I don't see how that doesn't happen, because it used to be that you had to protect your gates.
Right.
And then because there's so few of them, but now, you know, some can get hit by a land destruction. That's fine. You know, you're still going to be able to scape shift into it. I mean, gate shift, jank. There you go. Yeah, that's what I would call this deck. It would be called gate shift. Always go grab your Maze's End. Make sure that you grab all your gates. Ramp. Run a few tutor spells. And go get the combo win. I mean, we should take a look at Maze's End and see where that price went. I guess, we can look at Baldur's Gate first. That's my bad.
We'll pull Maze's End up so we can look at it. But Baldur's Gate, it's a 2-cost filter. You sort of got Cabal Coffers here, but it's counting gates instead of swamps. So
I mean, this is a huge card. Obviously, this is one that you would run in the gate deck, and it is a Cabal Coffers for gates. I mean, it's pretty strong. It's really good.
Maze's End up to $10. Dragon's Maze only printing in Dragon's Maze. That is strange.
I would look at eBay and just see what is the lowest possible price. That's what I'm going to look up right now.
Here, look, Jake, you wanted to see if it spiked? I'd say it's a pretty good bet that if you go search on Twitter, somewhere on April 15th, Wizards tweeted the fact that gates were going to be a mechanic in Baldur's Gate. And yeah, this card has more than doubled. More than doubled.
So I'm seeing like the promo is still around like $5 to $6, and then you can get a non-foil copy for around the same price. 8. I see 8s. This is a card that when it first came out, it was very much a meme, but you can see how your memes suddenly turn into dreams. That's right. The meme becomes a dream. We have 330 people watching, and that is freaking awesome. Can you help us get to 169 likes? And if you are hanging out and you are enjoying the stream, then make sure to click like and subscribe. We will have many more streams, including one tomorrow where we're going to open some Japanese War of the Spark and finish off a case for Space Station 2, which is going to be a blast. So definitely hit subscribe if you are enjoying yourself.
So I think we'd be remiss not to mention the Gate Commander, which is 9 Fingers Keen. First off, Ward of pay 9 life. 9 fingers can't be targeted unless you pay 9 life. That's pretty insane, and I like how it plays with how many fingers they have. Whenever 9 Fingers Keen deals combat damage to a player, side note, has menace, very cool. Look at the top 9 cards of your library. You can put a gate card from among them onto the battlefield. Then if you control 9 or more gates, put the rest into your hand. Otherwise, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Look at the top 9 cards. If you have 9 gates, the thing you get 9 cards.
This is only blue, green, and black gates.
That is correct.
You don't get to run the other ones. So this one is going to be a little bit more difficult to live the dream. One thing I would look out for is I would just expect foil gates to be expensive. That meme just by itself, the fact that those lands, even though they're commons, I do expect the foils of those to be a slight premium. Probably not too much, but it's going to be something that people are interested in.
Plaza of Harmony is going to be relevant. Look for foils of Plaza of Harmony to take a nice little jump over the next couple weeks.
Right.
All of these are commons. I'd search the foils if you have any of these that are recent. If you control 2 or more gates, you may draw a card. 4 mana for a 2/4. You can draw cards better than that, homie. I like Gatebreaker Ram, Vigi Trample. If you've got 2 or more gates and it gets +1/+1 for each gate you control, it's flavorful and it can be strong. Guild Summit is pretty excellent too. Whenever it enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Relevant that plays with Keen. That's a really good one to play with Keen. And I will say, Jake, these colors, this trio of colors is probably the right trio of colors for a land-based deck, because you're going to be, if you want to, you can be milling your library into your graveyard. You can be doing a ton of dredge stuff, drawing cards, looking for, tutoring the stuff up with the black and the blue. Green is your scape shift for the victory.
Right.
It is the right colors if you're going to pick 3.
I did go ahead and look this up. A foil gate, lowest on eBay for a foil gate of any gate, a guild gate, is $1. So I would expect, especially if this deck takes off in any kind of meaningful way, I would expect the needle to at least move a little bit on these. Not financial advice, but yeah, that's interesting. At least the gates that you pull in this set, if you do pull them, are going to have some sort of relevance in a commander format, a commander setting.
Yeah. So Baldur's Gate, it's nice that they have added that as a mechanic. It's a narrow deck, I mean, it's like, this is my gate deck. There's probably a variance of 120 to 150 different cards that you can put in there, right? Because you've with a gate deck, say I'm building a 9 fingers gate deck, you gotta have, there's probably 20 cards that just are automatically in there, have to be there for the synergy. Maybe even a few more than that. So it's a narrow strategy, but it's got support.
Yeah, I think so. Gateway Plaza from War of the Spark. That's one I haven't thought about in a long time.
Yeah.
You know, that's a...
what was that? What was this? This was a big land.
Add 1 mana of any color.
It wasn't called Gateway Plaza back in the Rupture Spire. When we first started playing
essentially
Commander,
Ruptured Spire.
right?
Yeah.
Rupture Spire was a huge card in Commander right when we started playing, but it has since
This is
fallen
definitely
by the
the
wayside.
edgiest gate. This is the gate that you don't want to go into at all.
We don't go to
This
Gateway
is the gateway
Plaza.
to hell. This is the gateway to hell.
Well, this is right where Bolas started his thing, right? His whole attack, because that story was great.
We don't want to mess around with that. Yeah.
Anyway, Baldur's Gate, cool that they're supporting it. It's a narrow deck, but if it's got the cards to support it, rock and roll. Have fun with your gates.
Have fun with your gates.
What else about Baldur's Gate? I got a couple other requests in the Discord today, talking about some of the new commanders. Looking at, let me see how many of our mythics we have on Scryfall so far. Whoop, not a type, but a rarity. I've had a lot of people, Jake, since we've been doing this stream, talking about how I search and what website I'm using here. It's interesting to me how many people aren't aware of Scryfall. Maybe it'd be a video for the next couple of weeks for us to do sort of a walkthrough of how we find cards and how we search on Scryfall, and then show the connection.
You should do
with
that
Moxfield.
because you're really good with the syntax.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that so that everybody's got a reference video. Because it also, the beautiful thing is if you go to Moxfield, Scryfall
party mechanic.
Scryfall and Moxfield overlay each other. And so you've got the ability here to, this search box here is the exact same search box as Scryfall. So you can use all your syntax stuff too and be like, I want a red card that draws a card, but it's under 2 mana. You can find stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. What's up, Shamong? Nice to see ya. Scryfall and Moxfield should both be common knowledge, says Sour Weasel. Yes. What am I drinking? I'm currently drinking a Pacifico.
We haven't yet gotten here the night before the last day of spoilers. We haven't yet gotten our green ancient dragon or our white ancient dragon, but we've gotten 3 of the ancient dragons from D&D now represented as elder dragons in the set. And I got to tell you, these are all pretty brutal. They all have to connect. That is the downside, and none of them have trample. But when they all have incredible deal combat damage triggers. Ancient Copper Dragon, when it deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20, make that many treasures. Are you serious?
Oh yeah, dude. This is probably the best card in the set. I mean, it's not a Jeweled Lotus by any stretch of the imagination, but it's going to fit right into all of the decks that love treasure. You know what? Let's break away from this really quick, but stay in the same line of treasure. Yeah. And let's look up the best treasure cards, the most relevant treasure cards. Anything period, that makes a treasure. Yeah, just period. We should just see everything that makes treasure, sort by price, high to low. So
what we did here, I sorted by EDH rank first, because price doesn't always mean it's going to be the most played card.
Sure.
So these will be EDH rank. If you're not familiar, chat scrapes all of the internet for deck lists that people post, and then they do their statistics based off of those submissions. Steve P, thank you for joining the channel, by the way. We really appreciate that membership.
Yes, thank you for becoming a member. So, I mean, there's obvious ones like Dockside Extortionist, Smothering Tithe that we know, Pitiless Plunderer. Revel in Riches has to be going through some sort of uptick because of all the treasure synergy. That's a win con that's related to treasure.
Yeah, let's look at what Revel in Riches is doing. Oh, man. Since July of last year, this card has only been pretty trending up.
Yeah, you see it break trend a little bit here, and then it plateaus out. There's a nice valley of ups and downs. But then, yeah, like,
you know what I bet this was? This is Prosper right here. Prosper was the last major commander that had treasure printed on it. At least that made a huge splash. And
that would definitely be it, because that was Adventures in Forgotten Realms.
Yep. And now here
so
we see it's a huge mechanic, and so it's exploding again.
Yeah. Revel in Riches also getting Pioneer Place, says Macho Taco. That's good to know.
I didn't know that.
That is good to know. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not even
surprised.
meme, dude. This meme card, when this came out in Ixalan, when we first saw treasures, we were just like, oh,
hold on, I'm gonna bring it up. Will you tell me when Ixalan came out? I want to see if I can find this in real time.
When Ixalan came out,
yeah, let's find out when Ixalan came out, and I'm gonna actually look at my order history.
January 2018. No. The very first one was September 2017.
You said September 2017.
Yes, September 2017, October, somewhere in there, and then Rivals was the beginning of the next year. That was the winter set the next year.
All right, so Revel in Riches first came out 2017 September. Is that what you're telling me?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if I'm looking at, here we go, October 2017. Here's September orders for 2017. This is me looking around when Ixalan would have came out. Let's see if I can find what I would have paid for that card around then, because I would have been doing pre-orders for this set.
Right.
Yeah, there's Captivating Crew, Makeshift Munitions. Oops. Field of Ruin, Marionette Master. Let's see here. Sorry, chat. Bear with me. I'm on a mission now.
This card, Academy Manufacturer. Well, Jake's looking that up. Let's look at what Academy Manufacturer's doing. Because this is a card, y'all. Yeah, see? Here it is. It already happened. I was trying to tell people earlier this year, this card is undervalued. Anything, clue, food, or token takes off in a major way, this card is going to double. And hey, look, people are going, oh yeah, double from 2, Joel. Double from 2? Why do I care? And it went up to 8. It's come down a little bit here. But this is the kind of card, it's not going to be, I mean, it could show up. This one, actually, it could show up pretty much anywhere. Got to be a supported mechanic, but any like major reprint set could use clue, food, or treasure as a sub-theme. Zach, you bought 20 of them for $2 a piece? Yeah, boy. That's what I'm talking about. Undervalued cards.
All right, here's an old order. Are you ready? An old order from 2017.
So this one, to tee this one back up, this is treasure. No, you're talking about your Ixalan pre-orders.
This is Revel in Riches, and this was shortly after the set came out.
Uh-huh.
And I bought 8 Revel in Riches on November 3rd, 2017, oddly at 4:17 p.m. I bought 8 of them at 99 cents.
Yeah, boy. Those are all $20 cards now.
Yep. And
Side
so
note, probably
let's see
time
if I did
to
more
unload.
in February. Right.
Cards that
and then
say
I
win
went
the
and
game.
I bought like
Treasure Token, such a good one. Ixalan actually turned out to be a set, and we'll have to have another discussion on that one, but Ixalan turned out to be a set that was pretty preventative of its own reprint possibility because of how much the stuff was named based on stuff in the plane. And then and so it's got a low reprintability factor in there, making it a big deal.
Yep.
Revel in Riches, yeah, this is I mean, treasure's here. I was gonna say it's taken off, but it has taken off. I mean, looking at these top 4 cards where the text includes treasure, Smothering Tithe, Dockside, Pitiless Plunder, Stormkiln. All 3 of these. You know what? Let's go to top 5 just because we've got almost every color represented. Tireless Provisioner as well. Man. You've got 5 cards here.
I slept on that one.
You know, Pitiless Plunderer, I want to say that these 5 cards are widely playable in most of your commander decks. The 2 that sort of get, you know, would get reassessed as you're building your synergies are Pitiless and Stormkiln, because for Pitiless you really need to be making bodies that die, and then so like tokens, and then Stormkiln artists you really need to be casting enough instants or sorceries for that create a treasure token to even be relevant. So
right,
but I mean you're looking at 5, and look, this card was pretty recently printed here too, Deadly Dispute. As an additional cost, sack an artifact or creature.
Dude, Deadly Dispute.
Instant speed, draw 2.
Completely
create
missed
a
it.
treasure.
Completely missed it. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Even if you just have a treasure on the board to sack, it replaces itself.
What the? This card is $4?
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
What
and
is
it's
happening? It's a
It is
common.
a common.
It's a common that has broken $6.
That should tell you everything you need to know about
What?
AFR, which is, it's probably a set that wasn't opened a lot.
Pioneer.
And then the other thing that it should tell you about it is, oh yeah, Pioneer, definitely. But yeah, it should tell you in Telegraph how attractive treasure is to people. We were just talking about this, but treasure is essentially, we just make a shit ton of lotus petals. You're just making lotus petals
Right.
all over the place.
A field
And
of lotus
so-
petals.
Right. It's almost like if someone has a lot of treasure, you want to Vandal Blast just to get the treasure off the board. Because what you could do with the treasure is just degenerate. And then all of the treasure cards, once you get like one pile of treasure going, you could just start casting all your degenerate treasure shit early. And it's all just going to amount to a pile of more treasure. I think treasure in the future becomes a mechanic that definitely gets powered down in some capacity.
It's
There's
got
going to
to
have
be.
to be something that's like,
Can't get
because
powered anymore up.
it only gets better and better.
Right.
It only, every time a new treasure card comes out, it only makes all the other treasure cards better.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Well, I saw a tweet from Saffron Olive the other day that said he speculated that if treasure came into the battlefield tapped by default, that it would pretty much fix the entire mechanic into something that's awesome and not something that's absolutely busted in some places. But it also would probably turn a lot of those down. While we're talking about treasure, I think we have to mention Zorn, because this is a card that I don't see a lot of people talking about. It came up in chat last week when we were talking about treasure. But Zorn, yep, look at this. Look at this. I freaking knew it. I hadn't checked it in a few months. But people were sleeping on it. If you would create one or more treasure tokens, instead create those tokens plus an additional. Can you imagine? I mean, this is already really freaking good. Can you imagine if this created, if this just doubled straight up instead of creating one more, it just doubled like a doubling season or anointed procession, but just for treasures? Insanity.
Columbo with the $7 super chat says, knowing wizards, the green one will let you search for lands and the white one will gain you life.
Yeah, dude. Talking about those ancient dragons. Yeah, I mean, looking at this, it's kind of crazy too. I mean, your top 12 cards for treasure in Commander, according to edhrec.
Right.
Here we go. Within this one came out last year. This one came out last year. This one came out last year. Last year. Last year. Last year. Last year.
Yep.
Go one more row down. You got 3 more. Last year. Last year. Last year.
You know,
Like-
everybody wanted those. Everybody wanted the Vorinclex from Call Time. No, you wanted the Treasure Dragon. That's what you wanted to open.
Turns out Treasure Dragon was the best mythic.
Yeah, Treasure Dragon ended up being the most relevant card. It's just, yeah, I don't really know how you can fix treasure, because it isn't like whatever the online format is where you go in and you fix the code.
Right.
It's like you would have to just like ban so many cards. I think it would be so unattractive, especially because players have built now very relevant treasure decks. And so it's just the kind of thing where maybe, you know, you print a card that's like target player takes damage equal to the number of treasure that they have, and you just call it like obsessive greed or something like
well,
that.
I think you could go a long way by banning out the biggest culprit of these 8 to leading toward not fun games, which is Dockside Extortionist. I think that this would be a really safe ban for the Commander Committee. I think you'd ruffle some feathers, especially in the CDH community. But I also think that they can rule zero it if they want to. You know, they can choose to not look at that ban list. But if you take it to, like you said, you can't errata cards. They're not going to go that route. They're not going to errata the mechanic. You know, I mean, I guess they could possibly say, just across the board, it's a rule now that treasure tokens into the battlefield tapped. That seems weird because they don't like to do that for newer players. They've self-admittedly talked multiple times about how most Magic is played at the kitchen table, and it's not, those players are not engaging with even channels like us or wizards at all. This stuff pops up on a store shelf. They're like, oh, cool, I like this, aesthetic, or I don't. And so an errata is really tough to get to those people. But if you went through here and you maybe cherry picked a few of the worst contenders for game breaking, because most of it's not really game breaking, and if they slow down printing on this stuff, that'll help too.
Yeah, possibly so.
They did change companion. That is a good point, chat. They did change companion, and but this, I don't think this is as big a problem as companion was. But looking at the set, I mean, the new set is definitely going to be providing us with some more treasure cards. I mean, in the last set, we got bootlegger stash. I mean, look at this. We got white cards. We got, it's in every color now except for blue here in this set. Looking at Streets of New Capenna, you got
stuff like blood money that just tells me that treasure is just going to the moon. Even though blood money's a really expensive card, even though bootlegger stash is a really expensive card, it just tells me that it's just gonna keep ramping up. If it had just been a mechanic in Ixalan and like some relevant treasure cards were able to stick around, like Revel in Riches used to be a meme because you play that card and then you destroy stuff to try to generate treasure to get to the point where you have enough treasure to win. Now you could play Revel in Riches into a board filled with treasure right after playing a Dockside, and that's before we even get all of the new treasure cards that are about to come out. Now it's like you create a pile of treasure, destroy the board, get treasure for every single thing that's destroyed, and now you play Revel in Riches, just win. It's like, I don't know. I see it as being like the kind of thing where people are like, whoa, treasure decks, what happened? I might be wrong.
D-Hammer said if my 10 Docksides
it does fit the theme,
get
you're
banned.
Right. Yeah.
He said if my 10 D-Hammer goes, if my 10 Docksides get banned, Daddy will be unhappy. And D-Hammer, I gotta say, my friend, if you don't think that we are at the peak right now, clip what I'm about to say and show it to me in 2 years. If you don't think that we are at the peak of the price of Dockside and that it's not either about to get a reprint or get hit with a ban, I think you're fooling yourself, my friend. I think that it is time, if you're sitting on 10 of these and you got them for cheap, I think it's probably time, not financial advice, to start looking at moving these things to the next bag holder. Because if you got them for cheap and you want to lock in your returns, it's just so imminent that this gets banned by the rules committee or it gets reprinted. It's just so no close. I don't even think it gets banned, but sometimes when a ban comes out you don't expect it at all, and it's like, okay, well, there's the ban for that nobody saw coming. But definitely if you're holding a card at an all-time high and you have superfluous copies and you don't need like 4 copies for a deck, I would definitely convert them into there you go, anything. I would convert them into buying the dip on other reserve list cards, something like that. Like if you want to keep it into in MTG, then go pick up some of the reserve list stuff that maybe we talk about in a little bit, or some of the higher end stuff that is really good around the $100-$150 range, especially if you're cashing in 9 Docksides at $70 a piece is going to end up being, or no, you said you had 8, right? So 10.
No, 10. So yeah,
the 9 copies to move.
$630 in Docksides that you could get rid of.
Bro, do it. I mean, just not financial advice, and I'm not telling you what to do, but do it. You gotta
convert them into a
liquidate
couple
those.
duels. It's not a bad idea.
You gotta liquidate. Look at this. Sack an artifact creature, doesn't say non-token. Create 2 treasure tokens. Sack a non-creature artifact. Create 2 1/1 colorless construct artifact creature tokens. Wow, I hadn't even seen this cat yet, dude. I think this set is going to be a lot more fun than people's initial reaction to it was, and I think that the initial reaction is completely based on the fact that there just weren't a ton of high value reprints like we were expecting. They're saving all that for 2XM. But yeah, treasure, to sort of button up the treasure thing, it's here to stay. So far we've seen 13 cards, not counting today's spoilers or the last day of spoilers, which is tomorrow as we shoot this video. We've gotten 13 new treasure cards. You can see that, Jake, look at this. It's not only 13 new treasure cards, but it's 3 mythics so far are treasure mythics. So
yeah,
a not insignificant chunk of the mythics in this set are treasure mythics, and they're all bomb.
2 of them are in the most relevant treasure colors.
Right, exactly.
So,
and they're all bomb. You're creating a D20's worth of treasures. You're destroying all creature and getting a treasure for each non-token creature destroyed this way. And then Battle Angels of Tyr, when it deals combat damage, draw a card if they have more cards, create a treasure token if they have more lands, gain 3 life if that player has more life. It's got myriad.
Yeah.
That's the relevant part here. But treasure, it's here to stay. Hopefully they lean away from it. I mean, we just had Capenna, which it sort of makes sense for treasure to get a lot of attention on Capenna. It's about money. They can do some stuff there for sure. Kind of in Baldur's Gate. D&D is definitely about collecting treasure.
Well, that's the thing about treasure is
back off.
It makes sense for it to be in multiple sets because treasure is like the currency in so many of these different worlds. You don't want to like recreate a new type of currency every single time you want to do something related to like money or gems or whatever. You want to just be like, okay, it's treasure. We'll give it a different kind of flair, a different kind of art based on whatever set we're in. But yeah, you essentially want to figure something out. That way you're not switching that mechanic up constantly. You don't want to have 5 different kinds of currencies that have no synergy within each other.
Right.
People just aren't going to be attracted to the set. So when you do have a synergy like treasure that you can kind of weave throughout different planes and different universes, I mean, that ends up being really attractive.
Food and clues, same thing. That can have multiple applications. You can look at it from different angles. But yeah, hopefully we get some good artifact or treasure artifact token hate something in the next couple of sets. I saw somebody in chat mention that Brothers War is on the horizon, and that's gonna potentially, it's guessed that that's an artifact heavy set, so some anti-artifact tech, a nice card that is either very low CMC and just simply says artifact tokens your opponents create come into play tapped. Or,
I mean, Ancient Runes just shits on treasure, dude. Ancient Runes just is like,
oh yeah,
I eat your treasure for breakfast.
So
there are already cards that are just like
one of our earliest sleeper cards. This card's still only $2, $3 card from Tempest. Uncommon.
Yeah.
Beginning of each player's upkeep, it does damage to that player equal to the number of artifacts they control. Yeah, hell yeah.
And that's really good even without treasure, because you have so many people that run soul rings and signets and stuff that this just kind of, it's a nice little passive punisher card that puts a clock on the game. But when you have somebody that's like running a crap ton of treasure, oh baby, it's over, man. It's over.
Whoa. Okay, so this is 4 mana. It's a little hefty, especially because a lot of that, you want to prevent that ramp early. That's why I was saying that a hate card needs to be low CMC or it needs to have a significant effect. I mean, you can look at how the price of this has not moved as a point toward, I mean, surely people just haven't discovered this one yet. But
well, no, I think it's just so niche, because if you could figure out a way to turn all permanents on the battlefield like a liquid metal coating for everybody, then it gets way better. But yeah, it doesn't do anything by itself for 4 mana, which I think is the attractive thing about the card. It's just like,
and that was the other part of my point, is it needs to be a low CMC thing that simply hoses treasure, or it needs to be like this, a 4 or 5 mana card that has this effect, but it's also doing something else for you passively, synergistic to that. Maybe if you And then you get to scry as well, or you're doing something with the artifacts in your graveyard or something like that. Just some other effect to pair it with it. Then it would get a nice little
well,
nice
March
little
of the
boost.
Machines. Yeah,
I saw
March
some
of the
people saying
Machines is a good one.
Yasharn, you just got to be in green and white. But yeah, this is huge. Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate abilities. Booyah. Treasure tokens off.
Yep. Cards like Collector Oof and Stony Silence have become brutal for treasure decks. Yeah, that's a good point, Ryan.
Yeah, Modern Horizons did bring us a nice little bear that does the effect that we want, which is turn off activated abilities of artifacts. And any cards that are very similar to that are going to be where your, anti-treasure tech is right now.
Right. There's a stealing treasure opportunity in the future, I bet. Yeah, probably so. I just think that essentially, if you're in red and black and you're not playing treasure, I'm just like, what are you doing? I mean, that's where all of the best treasure cards are. So, I don't know. Just my thoughts.
Treasure's powerful. It's a nice long discussion about treasure. What does this thing do? It's a 3-mana 6/6 vehicle. It's got trample. It's got a crew of 4. Ward of discard a card. I love that they're using ward. Yo, I actually really love ward. It's hexproof, but you can still play. It's hexproof, but it's not locking you out. And then whenever Mighty Servant of Luco becomes crewed for the first time each turn, if it was crewed by exactly 2 creatures, it gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player. It's got trample, so that's good. Draw 2 cards. That'll be a pretty dope rare in limited.
And that is a CMC of 3, so that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Easy to get going.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting seeing a
I was
like
actually
that.
really surprised that unlicensed hearse had an uptick. Does anybody know why unlicensed hearse went up?
I think that this has been playing
pretty good, but
Pioneer. I want to say
Pioneer.
that this has been in Modern or Pioneer recently. Oh yeah, Luco. Luco would have been a very thematic. If we had gotten this one as our preview card, whenever this creature deals combat damage, if it was crewed by exactly 2 creatures, come on, 2 people on the channel. Our names are in the title of the channel.
Oh, unlicensed hearse is a killer in Legacy.
Oh, there we go.
And it sees modern play. Okay.
It's a 2 mana. 2 mana, tap, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard.
And it crews by any wizard, which is what Legacy's all about. It's just a bunch of wizards hacking each other down.
And it also survives board wipe, but I don't know how much board wipe there is in Legacy. I've never played Legacy.
Oh yeah, well you exile the cards and then you just keep track of that, and yeah, I mean, you have this beater that after a board wipe you just play something and crew it. The thing that you crew it with doesn't even need summoning, or it doesn't even need haste, so it's just like crew it as a condition for the hearse and then swing in for star, and by that point of the game it might even be a 6/6. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty strong.
Jermaine had an interesting question. What do you think about having some kind of marker on cards with ward like they have flashback? Because people forget about it so often in punt. I like the idea. I really liked the old flashback cards that had the little graveyard symbol on them, like here, like Acorn Harvest. Just so you could glance through your graveyard and see the symbol. But symbols on cards are something that they really just don't want to do. They just never have done it, really. I like playing on Arena because the little icons will show you just at a glance everything that it's got, especially with all of the equipment, with all the auras. That's one of the nice things about playing online, I guess, is that it will get those markers. But I mean, it's a cool idea. I just don't think that they're going to do it ever. These
Maverick says,
cards,
Jake, try Viridian Revel. Can we type in Viridian Revel?
Yeah.
This is, I think, just a play on
whenever an artifact's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card.
Opponents.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, this is a good way to play around treasure.
$4.
We pretty much wrapped up treasure, but yeah, that's a good way to get the most out of your opponent's playing treasure is you get to draw all the cards.
Yeah, look at this graph. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. Treasure's becoming a thing. Okay, well, it's kind of lost its pop. Oh shit, here comes Capenna making treasure again.
Mm-hmm. Viridian Rebel, man.
It doesn't say you may. Oh yeah, it does say you may draw a card. It is optional, Jank. Let me look at my list here and see what our other categories were for the mythics. We talked about gates. We talked about reprints. New commanders. I feel like we want to save that one until we see the whole set and see, maybe go through our like top 10 favorite commanders or something, you know?
Well, here, I do have a list. I have a list of cards that I put together.
You want to go on stocks or TCG player? What do you want me to pull up?
You know, we could just do MTG stocks because I already went and I did the... Here we go. We'll go ahead and preface this list here.
Yeah.
Actually, give me just a second. I want to grab some water. And then we'll get into this.
Water time.
Water time.
Everybody, appreciate y'all hanging out tonight. If you would, do me a favor, if you haven't already, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, really going to help us out. Statistically, 70% of you that are here right now are not subscribed to the channel. And that's cool, but we'd really appreciate it if you would. Just click that little subscription button. It makes our day when you do that. Also, should probably tell you, our Discord's the place to be. We're talking finance, we're talking Commander all day, every day over there. I just dropped the link in the chat. Make sure that you click on that link. It's an invite just for you to our Discord. Come and hop in. Be a member of the Jajam community. You know what we do in the Jajam community? We have a Commander League. I see Bobby Z popping in right there. Everybody say, hey, Bobby Z. That is the commissioner. I've seen quite a few of our mods here tonight. Appreciate y'all being around. Jank. I think I saw Food Time earlier. Yep. Appreciate the mods coming through. We have a Commander League in our community. You can go over there. If you join our Patreon at any level, it gains you access to that Commander League. And that Commander League, the format changes every month. You build a new deck every month. And you build according to a certain budget level. For example, week 1, your deck is limited to $100 worth of cards. Week 2, we would add 50, go 150. Week 3, we're at 200. Week 4, we're at 250. You get assigned to a pod through the Discord. You work with your pod to schedule the game whenever works for you. And you play over spelltable in your underwear if you want to. In your underwear if you want to. You know what, chat? So you should definitely come check out the league through our Patreon.
It is a great time.
Oh, Bobby Z, thank you for that command. Sorry, Jake. What were you going to say? I was cutting you off.
No, you're good. No, I came in here cutting you off. I went to get water, and then I came back, and I was like, I want to say things. Hey,
so we're good at a channel because we both want to say things.
We've got 339 people watching. We've had $42 in super chats. Why don't we do something fun? Why don't we give away a set of Dragon Shields per our sponsor?
I'll pull up.
Let's give away. We're going to give away a brand spanking. We've talked a shit ton about Commander tonight, like a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it would be fun if we gave away. Why don't we give away a set of these? I actually have a set of these right here. We're going to give away a set of these purple non-glare Dragon Shields.
Oh, God, I love those, dude. Look, if you turn it to the side, you can see the actual color. You can show them the actual color of the thing itself.
It doesn't have it on here. I think it has. Oh, it is on the bottom. It's hard to see.
That purple,
but on the bottom,
so good.
There is no art on these, but what's cool about these is we do, since we were just talking about the Discord, we all play Commander on spelltable. They have non-glare. So if you have bright lights or something like that, these are going to be great for your camera picking up the card, and there's not going to be a big reflection on them, so that they could be good for you, especially you like playing on spelltable and that kind of thing.
Hashtag join our Commander League. Type in hashtag join our Commander League, and that is going to enter you into this.
That might be too long.
Oh,
it
is it
may
too
be
long?
too long.
Okay, hang on. Let me make it shorter.
Just do EDH. Join our EDH league.
There you go. Okay, don't type join our commander league. We're doing a new one. Sorry.
You may need to hit refresh, Joel. I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, is it working?
Now that we're very, very confused. No, it's not. No,
Sorry, everyone.
I was saying, don't say. Join our... There we go. Yeah, join our EDH league is working.
All right, get in there with join our EDH league, and you're going to be entered to win a brand spanking new set. Maybe you have a pile of cards, a new commander deck you're working on, and you're like, I need to go to the store and get some sleeves. Maybe you're going to win these.
Yeah,
but there's been a lot of support from folks today, so we're going to get back a little sleeves. God knows we don't need all of them, do we, Joel?
No, but big thanks to Dragon Shield for sponsoring our channel. Dragon Shield really went out on a limb and, you know, hooked us up with some super cool stuff. And we've grown. We hope that we've been able to make that sponsorship grow with them as well. And so I am definitely thankful.
Bobby Z, 13 months.
Bobby Z, yeah, welcome back to the Token Creatures.
Both very thankful. If you do win something, all you have to do is be a subscriber and like the video, and then you're going to reach out on Instagram or Twitter, be like, hi, it's me, I won this card on this stream, or I won these sleeves on this stream, here's my address. It's as simple as that. We'll get it shipped out to you. That's it. You don't have to share it, you don't have to tell a friend about it. Just make sure you like, make sure you're subbed, and you could go home with some Dragon Shield.
Hey, who out there's going to Vegas? I haven't been doing a roll call yet to see if anybody is.
We should do let's do a poll. I'll get a poll going.
Oh yeah,
here we go. Yeah. I'm setting up a poll right now.
And look, just because we're talking about Vegas, don't let this give you FOMO, please. You're not missing out on anything. It's gonna be fun for the people that are there. It's gonna be great for the people who aren't either. It's just gonna be a thing. We're not trying to drive FOMO. Please don't use your next paycheck to buy a plane ticket to freaking Vegas. It's hot. It's so hot all the time there. It's packed. You know, COVID's probably running rampant and they're just ignoring it.
Oh God, Joel, don't say that. But yeah, it's probably true. It's probably true.
86 eligible users. Again, real quick, I'm going to roll this in a second and we're going to go into our last topic of the night, which is reserve list cards that you should maybe think about targeting.
That's right. That's right.
Save your intro for the vid. Or I mean, you can talk about it.
Oh,
just
yeah,
I'll
let people know, and I'll just intro it again. Mm-hmm. Essentially, what I did earlier, I was like, you know what? It's been a while since I've looked at reserve list cards. For anybody who doesn't know, the S&P 500 has been absolutely shit. We're in like the worst economic situation the United States since 2008. It's really bad right now, which means that fear is high, FUD is high, which means typically that's a really good time to buy. We saw a lot of stocks hit all-time lows, and if you had bought that dip just a couple weeks ago, you'd be really happy. And the thing is, I'm talking all this shit about the stock market, but there is a reverberation in collectibles just across the board. If you have people that can't make certain ends meet, they start to sell stuff, right? They're like, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this at a good price, or try to get a good price. And so this list of reserve list cards is between $10 and $20. I think most of the reserve list shit under 10 is exactly what I said is shit. And I think that there are some cards between 10 to 20 that have some potential. They have a little potential.
Okay, a couple of different questions I want to answer before I roll this giveaway here. A good hotel to stay in. The Westgate is, I think, and I actually should confirm this, typically in past years, the Commander Con, what's it called? Command Fest, right? Command Fest Vegas.
Yeah, actually, we need to figure out where we're going to stay on Saturday.
I do need to figure this out. Command Fest Las Vegas. Here we go.
Korean says people like to pretend nothing is going on. I agree. They do. Tyler says we're in a bearish market right now. Stay the course. It's right. It's right.
They don't have us on the special guests. Jimmy Wong, Josh Lee Kwai, Kyle Hill, and Rachel Weeks. All awesome people. Very cool people.
Oh, that's cool.
Las Vegas Convention Center. So is that the Westgate? Yeah, that's it, right?
I am seeing some votes here, though.
If it's the same as it has been in the past,
10% of chat is going.
Las Vegas Convention Center, the Westgate Hotel is right next to it. And so that is where we've typically stayed so that we can just walk over to the hall without having to get an Uber or anything. We actually
probably will go. We will go Westgate most likely because we also like playing craps there. It's a good time.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Westgate, if you're not familiar with Vegas, the Vegas Strip is a little bit different place than the Westgate. And so to go and do the Strip, Caesars and MGM, all the big ones, you will have to get an Uber or a taxi over. It's not a long ride though. I'm just making sure if people have never been to Vegas before, I don't want somebody to stay at the Westgate because I recommended it because it's close to the MTG thing and then be like, oh shit, I can't walk to the Caesar's Palace from here. Damn it.
That's a good way to say it, Joel, is like if you're going to Vegas for the sake of going to Vegas and you're going to go do like a day of Command Fest, then go stay on the Strip or go stay on Fremont Street and then commute over for a day of MTG. But if you're going to Vegas I'm going for Command Fest for 3 days, then you should probably do something like the Westgate.
For sure.
That way you're able to just walk over, do Command Fest, and if you do want to take an Uber over to the Strip, then that's the way to go. So if you're going to Vegas for Vegas, do the Strip, do Fremont, stay somewhere like that for Vegas type stuff, and go do Magic on the side. If you're going to Magic or to Vegas for Magic, then go to the Westgate because it's going to be close to the convention hall.
Max Nelson, congratulations. You won those purple non-glare sleeves from Dragon Shield. Thank you, Dragon Shield, for sponsoring our channel and this giveaway. Max, consider joining our league using those sleeves over spelltable camera just regardless. If you don't want to join our Patreon, super cool. Jump into the Discord because there's a lot of games firing over spelltable over there all the time.
That's right. Congrats to Max. Jank, I don't know what to tell you. You got to go to Command Fest Richmond or do you go to Go Fest? You got to figure it out.
A lot of people have been talking about Richmond. I think that's going to be the East Coast Vegas, so to speak, for Command Fests this year. Magic Fests, whatever it's freaking called.
Possibly.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about Richmond as the East Coast venture. It's crazy that they announced these so quickly and they were just like, that's in 3 weeks.
Go figure it out.
Enjoy the plane ticket costs.
And there's not one person at the top that's like, do you think if maybe we had given them this information earlier, more people would have been able to book trips? Probs. Especially because the Vegas one is like on top of a bunch of poker events, which poker's really fun.
A bunch of poker events. The World Series of Poker.
That's a good way to say it.
World Series. It's not just some poker events. It's the same weekend as the World Series of Poker.
There's going to be a couple poker events going on, and yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, if we do see y'all there in Vegas at our little community meetup, we definitely got to jam some games. I'd love to play some two-headed giant against some people too. Jake and I normally at these events will go do the full box two-headed giant event. I don't know if they're doing side events the same way that they have when it was tied to, a GP or whatever. But if we can't do that, then bet your ass we'll be there with some two-headed giant tuned decks ready to fight and give the winner dragon shields.
Yeah, if you beat us, you can get some dragon shields, so tune your decks well. That will definitely be fun. We're going to go to the floor, hang out on Saturday. That's going to be the main day that we're hanging out. So if you're trying to think of, what day do I go down there if I want to hang out with these guys for a little bit? Or if you want to come break away, maybe we'll step away, go get a drink or something like that. We can all have a beer together. I think that would be a good time.
Play some craps. That'd be fun. Hey, real quick before we transition over to the reserve list segment.
Yes.
Tibor, TJ, Majra, Darth, Aiden, Jonathan, Andrew, it's Puma, CG, Steve became a member. Thank you. Henrique, Marcio, Samuel, Alex, Pone, Kenneth, Jake Miller, Ryan, Jen, Max, Fernando, Nathan, J-Rix. Thank you for subscribing over the course of our stream. Really appreciate y'all.
Yeah, now we are super close. We're about to do this final segment. We're at 233 likes. Can the 326 viewers help us push to 269? Can we get that fabled number?
We gotta
We've
get
hit 69 twice. Can we hit it the third time? And then we are going to talk about some reserve list cards. I guess we could go ahead and start getting on into this, right?
Yep. There's not a lot of streams where Jake and I are able to get to 269. So if y'all can help us do that tonight, that'd be pretty sick. We'll check back in with it once we are past this little segment. Jake, take it away.
So I kind of introed this a minute ago. So I don't know, for editing purposes, Joel, if you want to go take the beginning part where I talk about the market. But essentially what we're going to talk about here is reserve list cards that are under $20, that are above $10. And the way that I feel about this is essentially, are there any reserve list cards that are under $20 that are worth a damn?
Right.
That's kind of the idea with this segment is there anything that's actually good?
Because there's a lot of reserve list stuff that's like under $5 that is garbage. It's never going to be a playable card. There's just no reason to ever own a copy of it.
Yeah, it'll be like something where there's like a strictly better version of the card, or it's something where it's like just way too niche. It like has some sort of application, but it only affects like one creature type. So the first card we're going to talk about, and these are reserve list cards under 20. And chat, you're welcome to disagree with me, but I just went through and I was like, I clicked through, I read all of them. And the first one that came to me was Urborg Justice. Okay, this was the first one that I wrote down, where I was like, I think that this card might potentially have some legs. And the reason is because I see it as just like an extra, I kind of put a question mark next to it because I'm like, I think there might possibly be something here.
2 black.
But I'm also willing. Yeah.
Sorry, it's 2 black for an instant speed. Target opponent chooses and buries a number of creatures he or she controls equal to the number of creatures put into your graveyard from play so far this turn. So it's worth looking up what our Oracle text is. If you're not familiar, Oracle text is the true way that the card would be written if it was printed today. It fixes some errors from back in the day. Target opponent sacks a creature for each creature put into your graveyard from the battlefield this turn.
So what I like about it is if you build it into any sort of aristocrats type theme, you could, this is essentially a blowout. For 2 black mana, you're able to sacrifice the appropriate number of creatures, make sure that you're able to get through at a specific opponent, and this could be a kill shot for 2 black mana. I think it needs to be built into the right deck, but I do think as a reserve list card with a very niche effect, you know, a mass sacrifice effect at instant speed, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of one of the commanders that I played earlier this year, which was Tevish. Tevish that I built as a black-white aristocrats build. And it's creating 2 0/1s for a double uptick. You're sacrificing those to draw cards for an uptick. It's just kind of a mean creature because it helps you in that aristocrats build constantly put a creature presence on the board that can then be sacrificed to do other things with, which is what you have to have in a deck like that. So yeah, I mean, this card definitely plays right alongside that strategy. I really do like it. Instant speed too.
Yeah, instant speed, sacrifice effects. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the next one. The next one that I saw, this was a card that I think I have it in a binder, but I never gave it any sort of time of day, but it's Martin Stromgald from Ice Age, Marton. And what's crazy about this card is it's super squishy, right? But when it attacks, it creates essentially for the entire team a coat of arms that ignores creature types. So it's like when this attacks, all other creatures that are attacking are getting buffed for each other attacking creature other than Martin. And then when it and then I mean, obviously the card is going to soar. It's going to be great with a dark steel plate or anything that's going to make sure that it doesn't get hurt or killed. I mean, because again, it's 4 for a 1/1. It's a super squishy card. But what it does for the team is pretty immense, especially in a go wide strategy.
How about a brand new commander that is attack Harmonicon? So if any creature attacking causes it to trigger, it triggers an additional time. So you put Martan in your Ishin deck, and suddenly every time Martan attacks, all your other attacking creatures are getting +2/+2 for each other attacking creature. And you can attack with a bunch of thralls. They can be 0/1s. If they're attacking alongside Martan, you're suddenly getting a bunch of like 5-6 power or higher creatures all punching in. And Commander, a big swing with a line of 5/5s, that is serious almost 100% of the time.
Yeah, I see Otaruk is saying Martin is in my Ishin deck.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah. So it's funny, Joel. I think it's worth saying we've talked so much about Ishin since Ishin has come out.
Dude,
and that kind of exemplifies what we're talking about here, right? Because we have a card like
effect, man, and it's 3 colors, so you get some variety in there. But additional time, additional token, any cards that are giving you an extra thing of cards that have been balanced to do a thing when that trigger happens, anything giving you more of that, I think is just over time, unless you keep it nice and pared down price-wise with some good reprints. Time Spiral Remastered, Secret Lair Panharmonicon, even though that's one of the lottery cards, you know, originally in Kaladesh. This is the, you know, these are the types of effects that really pop up. But yeah, you're right. Ishin, ever since Ishin came onto the game, it's been everywhere as far as conversations go. Oh, you know what that'd be good in is Ishin.
And the card is honestly, you know, if not for the power and toughness, I think the card is really strong. I think it's a reserveless card that does get better over time. I mean, it's just great for go wide. That's pretty, I mean, it seems like it has good application in any deck that goes wide with red.
Oh yeah.
Next card that we have is Retribution of the Meek. And this is just like, if you're playing a bunch of low to the ground creatures, I think that this card is really strong. It's just a board wipe, a cheaper board wipe, for 4 or greater.
Can't be regenerated. Retribution of the Meek. Yeah, this is a good card. But look, let me search this text because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Shadow the Sky. Oh, is it 3 or greater? What is it? There's another card that does something a lot like this. But yeah, I mean, you see this line of text across MTG's history, once on the reserve list, once on a Planeswalker, and most recently in the Theros set, Theros Beyond Death.
I mean, power 4 or greater is like one of these things that we see it all the time. It's like Smite the Monstrous, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is it on a sorcery that hits everything, which is kind of crazy. At 3 mana, I do think it's a kind of card that's niche because it's like you need to have a deck where you are casting so many creatures, but also you don't really care about, or you're casting so many creatures and you don't really care about the fact that you're destroying 4 or greater. You don't care if that's on your side. So
3
it's just
mana?
a cheap 3
mana board wipe.
3 mana board wipe. And if you're in the right shell, like say you have this built into like blue-white kind of like prison type deck where you're running like Ghostly Prison and Propaganda, if you're getting rid of all the big stuff for cheap, it's not bad.
Any decks that are running Mentor of the Meek want Retribution of the Meek as well. And Mentor of the Meek is, I mean, I've played this card against you recently, Jake. It's a 2/2 that it comes onto the battlefield and you're like, well, if we let them untap with that, it's probably going to be bad for us in the long run. Because suddenly...
Oh yeah, there's chat saying Austere Command. That was the card you were looking for.
That's the one. Yeah. That's the one in my mind.
So it's one tiny chunk of Austere Command.
But still, it's half the cost of Austere Command. So mana-wise. So yeah, I like it.
Yep. And then the next one, I think we've made a short about this one, but it's Selenia Dark Angel. Selenia.
Oh, I know Selenia, yeah.
And I love this card specifically because you can bounce it for life. It's not mana restrictive, so you're able to bounce it. But for and also relevant creature type. So you have a relevant creature type. You have a card that, you know, it's okay. It's at first glance not freaking amazing as far as converted mana cost goes for what you're getting. You're getting a 3/3 flyer, but the fact that you can bounce it And
Yeah.
then there are so many angels these days that act as anthems for other angels that
There's
I think this card has some legs.
There's cards like Liesa. This was a card that I played in my Liesa deck, where you're paying the 2 mana tax instead of mana. You're paying it as 2 life that many times. Comes with flying lifelink. Also taxes cast spells from players. They lose 2 life, and that's you included. But you build an absolute crap ton of lifelink into this deck, and then you're able to bounce this with those synergies. It's got some potential. It's like you said, it is a 3/3 for 3 that doesn't have any auxiliary like Death Touch to make
3/3 for 5.
A 3/3 for 5. Yeah, sorry, 3/3 flyer for 5. It doesn't have any residual abilities to give it more value like Death Touch to turn it into basically a removal spell, you know. So it's relevant with the creature type for sure.
Jank has a good note in chat, says she's sick for a life swap deck. So yeah, if you're going to burn your life down and then trade your life with somebody else, it's a good card for that.
Right.
Next we have Unfulfilled Desires. Now, most of the cards that we're talking about here, this is a card that we did a 15-second finance on. This was also a card that got featured, I believe, in our Mirage Sleeper series. But this was a card that it just has pay 1 life built into it, draw a card, then choose and discard a card. You do have to pay 1 mana in order to use this ability. But this is just redundancy on a permanent, velocity on a permanent that is difficult to answer, right? You have an enchantment. It's one of the hardest permanent types to deal with. And you just are able to sink extra mana in, maybe EOT if you didn't use something, if you didn't use all your mana. EOT, just pay a life, draw an extra card before your turn. I think that this is easily a strong card, but I'm also very biased. I like enchantments a lot, and I love drawing cards.
And you love these colors. I think that this has...
I do love these colors.
It's got a similar note as the Selenia Angel that, you know, in a life swap deck, this is really going to help you burn yourself down. It also just helps with drawing and discarding. I mean, we were doing commentary on a Commander game on Monday where the player in the 3rd position, I think it was Clay, just had to draw the answer to a card on the board. Needed to find it. It was critical mass time.
Yep.
Answer it now or it's getting out of hand. You can feel that in a Commander game. When you get to that point where it's like, this is the turn I need to answer that or I've pretty much lost. This is the kind of card you're just like, all right, I got 10 mana. I got 20 life. We're going digging. Because who cares about your life total? As long as you're still at 1, you can still win. But
right,
if you need to dig for that answer, that comes in so handy in Commander games. Alpha Investments coming through. Talking about your card in Mirage and now your radar's going off. The signal, the taco signal in the taco cave. Shredded cheese
Alpha
is everywhere.
What's up, man?
Well, see, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't blink.
We're
It's
talking
just
about
one
good
exploding
reserve
taco.
list cards. We're talking about reserve list cards between $10 and $20 that might have some legs. They might have some legs.
Maybe.
Everybody say hi to Rudy. They may have some legs. And the next one, this one's going to be a little bit controversial. And the reason is because it's not even legal in Commander.
Oh.
But I think because it's not legal in Commander, the floor is absolutely where it is on this card. And the card is Yawgmoth's Bargain. Now, it goes back to one of the first sets that had foils. So the foil of this is just absolutely nuts. But this has skip your draw step. And you're just, again, it's another card that represents velocity. You pay a life and draw a card. Now, this is a card just specifically for collectors, right? This is not a card that I think anybody who likes playing Commander needs to grab. Like I said, I think that the floor is here, and just as the game, there's so many cards that are banned in the game that are still worth a lot of money, that this is just one of those cards that I read it and I go, well, it's obviously a very powerful effect. God forbid they ever unban it in Commander, but if they did, I mean, it would just skyrocket. Not financial advice.
That's where I was going to take the conversation. Is the question with Yawgmoth's Bargain is this going to get unbanned? Will this ever get unbanned? When I made a why is it banned short about this card, you know, when I was making that series, you could tell there were cards where people were oh my God, this is so unbannable. There's way more powerful stuff being printed every freaking day. Get this off the ban list. Keep the ban list as low as possible. Versus the cards where people are just like, if I have to tell you why this is busted, you don't understand Magic. But Yawgmoth's Bargain is sort of on that end of this could potentially be unbanned. Chat, what do y'all think?
I mean, look at it. Look at the World Championship 2000 deck and the Urza's Destiny copy of the card are pretty much the same.
Right.
That to me tells me that this card is at an absolute bottom. It's just finite. There are very few copies of it. And you have people that are just like, well, I just want to own a copy because it's part of the history of MTG. And then all of a sudden, if it did ever get unbanned, anybody who had any kind of position, the card would just go through the roof. But I just think it's one of those cards that, you know, players are just going to have like a copy. It's, again, not financial advice, but, you know, card. Most of the time, commander cards are the cards that you like to target because they have so much wide application. You know, that's why most of the time we, yeah, Necropotence, exactly. Necropotence should come to mind.
But I will say, to Chris Gallant's point here, resolve this for 6 mana, pay 20 life, draw 20 cards. You should probably win that game, especially if you've got something saying you have no maximum hand size. So will this ever come off the ban list? I think there's a very low chance of it coming off the ban list, to be completely honest, just because they don't show a lot of penchant on the rules committee for unbanning things to begin with, much less ones like this where it's resolve 6. A 6-mana enchantment just resolve. I mean, that. Rule
zero. It's going to be on the table in certain situations. There's going to be people that allow it in their their play
card?
Group.
It can be in cube. It's banned in Commander.
It could be a cube card. You could play it in cube. I think cube is a good place for it. But I think the price of the regular version of the card reflecting the price of the dual deck or the championship gold border non-legal version makes a lot of sense because it doesn't have any legality in Commander. It's only legal in Vintage, and that format is pretty much, it prices out a lot of people all by itself. Next card we have is Bubble Matrix, and this is a card that's pesky. I like pesky cards.
Bubble Matrix is a 4-mana artifact that says all damage dealt to creatures is reduced to 0.
Dude, pesky cards, man. Really annoying shit like this. Yo, this is the kind of stuff that, and this goes all the way back to Weatherlight, which is a set that was kind of a meme for a long time and has now had some cards that have started to get propped up. But yeah, I like this card because it's just annoying. It's super annoying. And sometimes people like to play with annoying stuff. It's fun to get reaction out of your friends. And so this being a finite card, you know, you can kind of see why Wizards of the Coast moved away from stuff like this.
We should get shirts made, Jake, that say, is this good in Ishin? Because the answer is freaking yes. This card plays in Ishin hard. Being able to attack without fear of losing anything on your line. Are you kidding me?
It's essentially like Dolmen Gate. I see a lot of people that are talking about that in chat. I've played against Dolmen Gate, and it's a card that's really, really annoying.
That's a new lens to look at cards through in Commanders. Is this good in Ishin? Could this be good in Ishin?
Yeah. Now this card here is like the way that this card plays in Ishin is you just want to have enough creatures that go wider than your opponents have blockers, right?
Or your attack triggers are trampling or giving them first strike, or I mean, no, first strike wouldn't matter here. You're looking for trample, really, or flying, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Go high.
Things like that.
Go over. Go high.
Do you guys think Ishin looks like Ewan McGregor? Does he?
No.
Yes. Not. Maybe a little bit. No. Kinda. The beard is similar. It's kind of like Obi-Wan. Yeah, look at this one in the white t-shirt here. Down.
Yeah.
It's similar.
I don't know. Good question, though.
Good question. But yeah, Bubble Matrix. It's
like
just
Bubble
one of
Matrix.
those cards that's really annoying. It's artifact or enchantment, so hard to deal with. And now we have Urtai Wizard Adept.
Oh, Urtai, bro.
I love this card.
Is
I love this card.
Is a cool card.
I just like it because it has a renewable counterspell built into it on a creature that's a very relevant type. It's a wizard. It's a human. And yeah, I think that this card is great.
One printing, reserve list, no artist. This is a lot of things all compiling. Main character from the stories. This one is all of the things in the collector side of things.
And I see this as a card that you play once you have a nice lock on the board to give yourself a little extra lock here. You could play it as your commander and just have a counter spell built into your commander, which is sweet. But yeah, 2 relevant creature types. Even though it's a 1/1, I still like it.
It's not very sweet to counterspell somebody. God, just off your commander, man. I know it's a 1/1, but that's just so brutal. That's just
okay.
So
so yeah, you just build a deck that has counter spells, and then your commander has a counter spell built into it. So if you don't have it on the board, you can counter with your other counter spells. I think it's just nuts. It's really fun.
I'm trying to see if there's any
Evan,
commander.
we love you.
I'm trying to see if there's any commander that just straight up counters stuff. Okay, so Kira is a similar-ish effect, but it's just for targeted spells.
Bobby Z, that's probably not bad advice, says, I would suggest grabbing the gold border reserve list cards that see a lot of play like Cradle and Grim Monolith. Yeah, I think so. I think so as well. There's probably not going to be... I mean, clearly we're not going to get reprints of those cards, and those are the affordable copies.
At
not
least
financial advice.
From a very surface level search, without really doing the needed amount of research to say this definitively, it looks like... Interestingly, the only other commander that has counter target spell on it is the 3-color version of Urtai, which is...
And more expensive version as well. But the ability is cheaper.
And it's very synergistic playing in a black and white deck to combine that with blue. I just thought it was interesting. I'm not trying to judge the 2 cards against each other. I thought it was interesting that the only other commander from, again, a very surface level scratching search was... Also, Urtai is the only other commander that's countering spells straight up off of a command zone. You know, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's cool that they reserved that for Urtai cards. They were like, this is the card that does that. This is the wizard that has a counter spell built in. Yeah, so anyway, I think the card's great. Relevant creature types, that's the last time I'll say it. Next card we have is Pendrell Mists. And Pendrell Mists is cool because it essentially has a tabernacle effect built into it. This is a card that, full disclosure, I do have a small position of these cards. I think I have maybe 8 of these that I bought years ago. And the thing about Pendrell Mists is,
this card is insane.
It has ticked up in price. It has ticked up in price over time. It just has an ability built in that's really good for stacks type decks. A lot of the cards that you'll see on my list here are enchantments and artifacts. This is no exception. This one is an enchantment, so it's hard to deal with, and it's just really annoying. It's just a mana intensive enchantment. Yeah, it has slowly ticked up over time though.
Pendrell Mists. I want to see what commander this is played in a lot, because I think that this is a very good card. It's kind of a brutal card.
Yep.
Oh no, it's being played in 1076 decks, so it's barely played, probably because it's a reserve list card. Top commanders.
I mean, it's not even a super expensive card. It's only like $16. It's just an ability that isn't super fun.
Obviously, Grand Arbiter. I mean, that is definitely the sort of deck that would want this card in there. Returning it to the battlefield. Yeah, I've had a player smash Pendrell Mists on the battlefield against me before, and it's, I mean, especially coming from me. I'm a more aggressive style player. I like creature-based decks. I like to create a lot of tokens, make them big, and swing out. And this is the kind of card that you just... Short of a board wipe, this is the kind of... And I plan for board wipes, right? In a creature-based deck, you have stuff to get around board wipes, Heroic Intervention, Teferi's Protection. With this, there is, like, nothing you can do about it except destroy the enchantment. So, yeah, this is the kind of effect that would be really backbreaking to my type of strategies.
Yeah, and a lot of players' strategies. You see a lot of players like to turn creatures sideways, and that's a fun way to play, you know? Like, close out the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's just one of these cards where I remember it's funny because one of the first times I saw the Pendrell Mist pump, you can probably go back and see it. Oh, look, there it is. It's 2018, 2019. You can see where Pendrell Mists gets pumped.
Who did that? Was this a Rudy effect?
It could, I don't think so. It could just be an overall pumping of reserve list. That's what it could be. Because this card, I think what happened is people compared it to Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale, which has been seeing a huge uptick ever since Commander came out.
Oh yeah.
And I think that they were like, this is the budget effect for it. It's going to the moon. And then you can see. But what ends up happening over time when you look at the chart is you see higher lows. It goes higher and it bottoms out, but
right.
but then when it bottoms out, the low is now higher. So when you look at Pendrell Mists, it's like you may have been kicking yourself if you had been like, oh God, I bought that card at like $10. It went back down to $3 or something like that, or $20. It went back down to $5. But now if you had bought it at $20, you're pretty much even on it. So it's like TLDR, buy the dip, not the rip.
Buy the dip, not the rip. We are financial experts, but this is not financial advice.
Buy the dip, not the rip. Okay, we got 2 cards left on this list.
Let's do it.
Okay, and then we're going to wrap this up. And the next one is a land that is actually able to create creature tokens, and that is Keldoran Outpost. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's KJELDORAN.
Yeah, you're really throwing me off with the...
Sorry, man, I don't name these cards.
Outpost? Is this it?
That's it. And it comes to us from the set that brought us Force of Will. It is Alliances. And the reason I like this card is because it's a unique effect on a land. It's a redundant effect. You know, there's a lot of different players that are going to want similar effects like this. We see it on like Castle that came out of Throne of Eldraine. We've seen it on, a lot of different lands, but this being a land, so it doesn't really take up a big spot in your spells chunk of your deck.
Right.
Being able to suit up a token is always a good time. I like this kind of effects.
This card is very good. I like this a lot. Enters the battlefield, you got a sack of planes to leave it on the battlefield. And that's the drawback. But then it's entering the battlefield untapped, so you're automatically getting that planes back. Access to it at least. And then 2 mana to create a 1/1 is very, very good. It's interesting. Look at this. We got a no artist that did new art when because online they can reprint these. There's no rule saying they can't make more copies of these reserve list cards on MTGO. And so you've got this new art version, but it's electronic only. But Alliances and then your 97 World Champ decks are going to be the only place to pick these up.
I like the original Alliances art. I think it's super sweet.
Yeah.
I love the old vintage borders of these cards. It's funny, a lot of the Alliances cards, it's really hard to find like nice minty copies of these. So it's like a lot of these look like they're light play and I think it's really cool. It's a nice throwback. The TLDR of this is it creates a nice token for cheap, and the planes is a little bit of a drawback losing that, but there's ways to play around that. Especially if you just need to make dudes. If you have a board full of, like, for example, I play SRAM. SRAM is a commander that I like to suit up with a bunch of artifacts and enchantments.
Yeah.
If SRAM gets killed too much, I need something to be able to put artifacts on once he dies. So this is a good way to come up with that. And the last card is a little bit of a meme, okay, on this list. But I see memes as being a good way to solidify, especially a meme that can be a commander, and it's Feldegriff.
You just had to put Feld on. Is Bobby around?
I had to put Feldegriff on, and the reason I like Feldegriff is because it's cute and it's weird. It offers multiple colors in a relevant, Bant is good. And it's a toolbox commander. And it's
a toolbox commander. What are you talking about? Your toolbox is this 4/4 can gain trample, give them a body. The other toolboxes gain flying, they gain 2 life, so
you,
now it's only
meme.
attacking for 2.
It's a group hug toolbox meme. It's just silly. It's silly.
The only decent, oh my god, dude, the only decent mode of this, and I'm talking decent, not even close to good, return it to its hand at instant speed and give an opponent a card. What the hell is this?
This is group hug to the max, but I think that, you know, being reserve list, I think that the card is and I had to sneak it in here. You can see it's above $20.
Yeah.
I promised we were only talking between 10 and 20. This is a little bit over 20, but this is a prime example of people just want this random piece of history. That's just how I feel about it.
So they did sort of
goes infinite with intruder alarm. That's right.
I can't remember if this pissed people off or not, but they did sort of do a nice little reprint-ish version of it with questing Feldegriff from Plane Shift. It gains protection from black and red for the white. Instead of on this version, it gains flying with the white. And on here, the blue gains it flying. Target opponent may draw a card. Oh man, this one's got a lot of history, Jake, but I don't know. There's just nothing about this card that's ever going to be good. Like good in the traditional sense of it's a playable good card. But you're absolutely right. I mean, I will say you prefaced this entire pick with this is a meme.
It's a meme, dude. It's a meme. It's a group hug is like mill. It's an archetype that is just like people, they look at it and they're like, oh, okay, you know. But it's a different way to play because when you're playing a crap ton and you're like, you know, I'm playing my sweaty deck. I always get burned down when I'm playing it. Maybe you want to go and you're like, well, I'm going to play my group hug deck and it's going to be a different experience for and he decided to do lots of bans.
Look, I'm telling you right now, I got chat not on my side about this at all. Chat is completely on the same page as you. Does not agree with me that that's bad at its core. But yeah, Jake, I like these picks, man. Keldoran Outpost, Pendril Mists, Urtai Wizard, Bubble Matrix, Yawgmoth's Bargain. It's also got the gold version. A lot of these have that gold version. Rudy's we got an Unfulfilled Desires, Selenia, Retribution of the Meek, and Marton Stromgold and Urborg Justice. Some good picks, man. They really are. Under 20 bucks. Yeah, they're probably not going to go much lower. They're safe purchases, and you know they are the kind of cards that if something is printed that you know really makes these cards pop off, that's the kind of thing that'll make them explode in price.
It's just the finite. It's finite. You know, that's like the big thing about these is there's a lot of these that wouldn't even be on the list if they were never going to be, if they were going to be printed again. There's like no reason to even talk about them. But yeah, you know, I wouldn't want to pump a card unless I think that the card is, you know, worth something, right? You know, because there are going to be people that are going to be like, oh, you're out here pumping these because you have a big position. I don't have a position in any of these except for the Pendril Mists. I have a couple Keldoran Outposts.
We pump pump cards on behalf of Rudy. Rudy just sends us a list every week.
That's right.
And he's like, cover these, boys. We're going to the moon. And we're like, why are you doing the voice? Don't do the voice anymore. We've asked you not to do the voice.
And you're not going to the moon on these. But during a down market is always a good time to pick up some cards that maybe you have had your eye on that you haven't really pulled the trigger on. And these are some ones that might not have been on your radar.
This is me. This is a live look at me when we release a video that doesn't do well. This is me holding the video in my arms. Nobody wanted to watch it. It's dead on arrival. I have to release it into the sands. That's what I say.
I'm so sorry you had to deal with that.
Well, homies, I hope y'all are having a good time tonight. Hope y'all had a good time tonight. Let's swap back over. Tomorrow night, we have got Foil Quest. If you're looking at my partner right here, I'm pointing at him. He's in the other box, waving at you. He has got a stream tomorrow night called Foil Quest. Jake, if they've never heard of Foil Quest or seen Foil Quest, tell them about it real quick.
Yeah, it's just going to be, we're going to be opening some boxes of Japanese War of the Spark. We're going to be looking for some of those alternate art foils from before we got the foil variant era, where every single set that comes out has 5 different versions of each card. Yeah, we're going to be finishing out a case, and fun thing about the case is we haven't found the foil mythic in it yet. There are only 2 boxes left, and yeah, we're going to be opening 72 packs tomorrow, so come hang out. We're going to be doing that, and that's going to be actually, we're going to go a little bit earlier. We're probably going to start around 5 tomorrow, because we're going to start things off with a box of double masters.
You're opening a box of double masters tomorrow?
Yeah, we're going to open a box of double masters tomorrow. One of our patrons sent the box. It has a broken seal on it, so he's like, look, man, I'm going to probably open this. And that's B-Rad. I don't know if B-Rad's hanging out, but B-Rad sent it over. He's like, just go ahead and open it. We're going to see what's in it. And we'll get a little Double Masters 2022 hype going. So tomorrow we are going to be opening 3 boxes of MTG. We're going to be opening a box of Double Masters, and then we're going to be finishing up Space Station 2's case. And yeah, we're going to have 2 boxes of Japanese War of the Spark. It's going to be a great time.
3 boxes, the way Jake opens them, is going to take roughly 10 to 13 hours. So make sure you bring your sleeping bag and a snack.
No, we are gonna aim to have that Double Masters box done in an hour. So bear with me. We're gonna try to do it in an hour. That way, Foil Quest starts on time, and then we're gonna hopefully the whole stream goes like 3.5 to 4 hours. That's the goal.
No, we're not opening any Duel Masters 20th anniversary. Huge thanks Memorial Pack, the chapter of the Shadow Parallel Masters. God, I need that on a shirt for real. I love Duel Masters 20th anniversary. Huge thanks Memorial Pack, the chapter of the Shadow Parallel Masters.
I know that you love Duel Masters 20th anniversary. Huge thanks Memorial Pack, the chapter of the I can't say all that shit too much.
It's not the best thing to say anyway. Everybody, thank you for hanging out tonight. Jake and I are playing around with this as a format where we make some content live, let chat participate, release his videos later for the people that aren't able to hang out with us live. So if you're enjoying it, please let us know. If you go watch the other videos, be like, hey, I saw this live, and now I'm turning this video on just to watch how good it was again. We can't wait.
If you come back for more, we really do appreciate you. Getting lots of love in the chat. So thank you all so much for coming to hang out. We do appreciate you spending your time with us.
For real. Definitely appreciate it, y'all. Like, subscribe. The Patreon is the best place to be. Honestly, signed card, playmat, access to the league, access to Foil Quest. If you want to participate in that,
naming all the videos. Yeah, definitely
want to go check out the Patreon, help us out over there. That's probably the quickest way to help us make this our full-time job, is go support us over on Patreon. So thank you for those of you that already do that, and if you're considering, go check it out, see if it's a good fit for you. Other than that, the Discord, that's where you got to be. That's all the
Bruiser, David, Tyler, Steve, Bobby Z, Gin and Tonic. That's a good name because it's like gin.
Oh yeah. Max,
Brandon,
Fernando, Nathan, J-Rix, Maytrade.
Lots of folks hanging out. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Thank you for. We were 2 likes away from 269. We couldn't get there. We got super close.
We were 2 likes away from 269. That sucks. We didn't make it.
We got close, but
I can't believe there are 2 people that wanted to.
Oh, there we go. We got there. Now we can end the stream.
269. Nice. That, you know what happens when we get 269